Ever wondered how to make homemade potato chips? Well, today's your lucky day. Potato chips are more than just a snack. They're a universal symbol of comfort, a crunchy companion to your favorite dip, a salty sidekick to your sandwich. They're enjoyed in every corner of the globe, loved by young and old alike. But there's something incredibly satisfying about making your own potato chips at home. Not only do you get to control exactly what goes into them, no hidden preservatives or artificial flavors here, but you also get to decide how salty, how crispy, how perfectly golden they should be. It's all in your hands. Plus, there's a certain joy that comes from creating something from scratch, a feeling of accomplishment that no store-bought bag of chips can ever provide. So, get ready to surprise your taste buds with the perfect crunch of homemade potato chips. Before we jump into the cooking process, we need to gather our ingredients. For making homemade potato chips, the list is delightfully simple. We need potatoes, vegetable oil, and salt. That's it. First up, potatoes. Choose fresh, firm potatoes. Russets or Yukon Golds work great. The freshness of the potatoes plays a significant role in dictating the crispness and overall yumminess of your chips. Next, the oil. We'll need a good quality vegetable oil for frying. The oil's quality is crucial as it directly affects the taste and texture of the chips. A high smoke point oil like canola, peanut, or sunflower is a great choice as they can withstand high frying temperatures without breaking down and impacting the flavor. Finally, don't forget the salt. A sprinkle of sea salt or kosher salt will add that final, essential touch of flavor. Now that we have our ingredients ready, it's time to start cooking. The first step in making homemade potato chips is preparing the potatoes. When it comes to chip making, not all potatoes are created equal. We want a starchy variety that will crisp up nicely in the fryer, like a good russet. But before we can slice and fry, we need to give our potatoes a good scrubbing. Washing the potatoes not only cleans off any dirt or grit, but also removes some of the surface starch, which can cause chips to stick together during frying. Once they're clean and dry, we move on to the peeling. This step is optional, as leaving the skin on can add a rustic touch to your chips. If you prefer a more refined chip, however, simply use a vegetable peeler to remove the skin. Remember to always peel away from your body to avoid any accidents. Now, we're on to the slicing. Arguably the most crucial part of the chip making process. To achieve that perfect crunch, we need to slice our potatoes as thinly and evenly as possible. Too thick, and you'll end up with a fry rather than a chip. Too thin, and it may burn before it gets crispy. Here's a tip. For the best results, use a mandolin slicer. This handy tool allows you to adjust the thickness of your slices for uniformity. It also makes the slicing process quicker and safer. Remember to use the guard to protect your fingers. And don't rush. Patience is key in achieving those perfect slices. You'll want to aim for slices about 1/16 of an inch thick. Once sliced, submerge them in a bowl of cold water. This will help remove any additional starch and prevent them from browning. In the world of homemade potato chips, preparation is pivotal. The time spent washing, peeling, and slicing will pay off in the form of crispy, golden chips that are a far cry from anything you can buy in a store. With our potatoes prepared, we're halfway through the process. Next, we move on to frying. Now comes the exciting part, frying the potato chips. Having prepped our potato slices, it's time to bring them to a sizzle. We're going to need a large, deep pan for this. Why deep, you ask? Well, we're going to fill it with enough oil to submerge our potato slices completely. This will ensure an even golden crispness on every chip. Now, let's get that oil heated up. It's essential to be patient here. Rushing this step could lead to undercooked or overly browned chips. So, we'll set our stove to a medium heat and wait until the oil reaches the perfect temperature. A handy trick to test if the oil is ready is to drop in a single slice. If it starts to bubble around the edges immediately, we're good to go. Next, we'll begin adding our potato slices to the pan. This is a step that calls for caution. We're dealing with hot oil after all. So let's make sure to gently lay the slices into the pan, one at a time. Avoid the temptation to dump them all in. We don't want any splashback or sudden oil temperature drops. Another key point to remember is not to overcrowd our pan. We want every slice to have its own personal space to fry in. Overcrowding could lead to uneven cooking, leaving us with some chips burnt and others undercooked. Now, we let the magic happen. As our potato slices fry, they'll start to turn from a raw white to a delicious golden brown. Keep an eye on them and give them a gentle stir occasionally. This ensures that every slice gets equal time in the limelight, or rather, the oil light. Before you know it, those pale potato slices have transformed into crispy golden chips. Use a slotted spoon to scoop them out and let them drain on a paper towel. And there you have it, Freshly fried potato chips right out of the pan. But we're not done just yet. We've got one more step to take these from good to great. Stay tuned. The final step is seasoning and serving your homemade potato chips. Now, to ensure we get that perfect crunch without any greasiness, we'll use a paper towel to gently pat the chips and drain off the excess oil. It's a little trick that makes a world of difference. Next up, while they're still warm, we'll lightly sprinkle some salt over the chips. The warmth allows the salt to adhere better, resulting in a beautifully balanced flavor. But don't let your creativity stop there. You can experiment with a variety of seasonings, maybe a dusting of paprika for a smoky touch, or perhaps some garlic powder for a savory kick. The possibilities are endless, and that's the beauty of making your own potato chips at home. Once they're seasoned to your liking, serve them up. You can enjoy them right away, or store them in an airtight container for later. And voila! You've just made your very own batch of delicious, crispy homemade potato chips. Happy snacking!